Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, episode 81. Again, as we talked about last week, 80 is a big number. 81 plus 1 on 80 is actually a bigger number. So it's very impressive, I think. I don't do math often, but that's a pretty big number. What do you think, James?
Pretty big number.
Pretty big number. Everybody, I'm Brian Pierce. What you're watching is Seat Time. We're going to talk about some of the off-road news that has happened, maybe throughout the past week, throughout the past weekend in the world, actually, because we had some X Games going on in Brazil. I think that's pretty interesting. Of course, we had some guys racing the big bucks. I bet you they wanted to race the big bucks instead of that nasty ass beat up old track. I'm just kidding. 17 years, that's a lot of history. Have you ever raced the big buck, James?
No, I have not.
No, but you've done a couple GNCCs.
No, never.
That was so OMAs.
Yeah,
you've done some OMAs. Okay, well then we'll talk about that. We'll see what's going on. And then of course we had some WORCS going on, and we got some National Enduros coming up. So lots of fun stuff to talk about. I'm telling you, today has been quite an interesting day. I'm frazzled. I'm stressed out. I'm not even wearing my sling right now. I've had some vodka drinks. I've taken a couple hydrocodone because my shoulder really hurts. So I'm really hoping that you're going to get quality out of me tonight and not just quantity. I'm going to put it out there, though. I want to make sure that everybody knows that if James Hill has to take over the show, he is completely prepared.
Be pretty boring.
Yeah, it would be something special. I think it would be a little different. But what I'm super stoked on is the fact that we now have our own mic set up for our guest in studio, and that was one of the bit. Yes, James just pointed out. Show everybody at home. Yeah, look how big it is. It's just as big as mine.
Yep.
And you know what's scary is I actually know how big it is because it's exactly as big as mine. The microphone, everybody. Yeah, for those of you not watching at home and that don't ever plan on looking at us publicly, we're talking about our microphones here. We actually got ourselves another boom arm and another microphone, a little mixing board. So, you know what that means? Is that our sponsors have been doing a fantastic job of helping us out at Seat Time grow. So, for those of you in the off-road industry, for those of you in the moto industry, for those of you who like to throw a leg over a dirt bike, or maybe you just like to sit at home and listen to guys talk about drinking beer while they talk about motorcycles, we thank you for watching Seat Time. But we also thank Fly Racing, Power Sports Graphics, and of course Squarespace. All of those guys are fantastic sponsors of the show. We really, really appreciate everything they do for us, and they help us progress the way that we have. We have lots of neat little things coming up in the future. We're going to be doing some stuff to the site, which is, I think, good. You always have to change with the times to kind of make sure that you're keeping up with what people want to see and how they want to see it and how they want to get their information, and we're trying to do that on the site and, of course, as well on the show. We know that this is not the most attractive stage ever to look at, guys like myself and James here. So we're going to kind of change it up, and it's one of the things that we're talking about doing. So, again, appreciate all the help from our sponsors, so please go check them out. Fly Racing, Power Sport Graphics, and Squarespace, because they're awesome. So, James, tell me what you did this past weekend. I want to know a little bit about you, a little more about what's been going on in your life. Because you're an off-road racer, right?
Yeah.
You race at a dirt box.
Last weekend, I pretty much didn't do a whole lot. I took my dad's Harley and went riding all day Saturday. Got a little bit of a raccoon sunburn.
Nice.
And Sunday, I pretty much, I helped my dad cut down a tree.
You're like, thanks for letting me borrow your Harley.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you cut down a tree.
And then I went home and sat on the couch, kind of like I'm doing right now.
Yeah, it's a good couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you watch on Sunday?
A lot of X Games.
A lot of X Games.
Pre-recorded.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, they had, 4 days of 3 hours worth of coverage every day, except for Saturday, which, I got, 6 hours worth of coverage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had, a crap ton of X Games to watch. Now, I'm not going to lie, there were some of the stuff that was recorded that I kind of was like, okay, fast forward. But, good thing is, Thursday night, we got to watch live, if you were watching it live, the Endurocross. So
yeah.
the Enduro X, if you will, on the X Games side of thing. So did you get a chance to watch that? Were you watching it live, or did you watch it like post race?
No, I watched that one live.
What'd you think live? How did that?
I thought it was pretty cool. The track kind of looked slick from all the water getting tracked around.
Kind of looked slick.
Like a lot slick.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I was like, it looked like they laid down a slip and slide tarp, put dirt on that, put water on it, and then put another slip and slide tarp. Yeah. Everybody's ass end was all over the place, man. It was insane. Those guys were just like skirting around like crazy. I have a question though. Dale Spangler, our good buddy from Fly, we chat all the time and we text and stuff. He was telling me he did not think that the X Games in Brazil was promoted very well. So you knew to watch X Games live Thursday night for the Endurocross. How did you know about that? How did you find out to watch that?
Honestly, I walked into the bar down the street from my house and it was on. So I went straight home and turned it on and hit the record button. And then I went through the menus and recorded everything else.
So if it hadn't been on, you would have been at a bar Thursday night, I reckon.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. No, yeah. We're not judging. You're not judging your actions by any means, because they're fun. They're good. What I think one of the things that Dale and I had talked about was the fact that it seemed like they were, even though X Games does a good job, publicizing itself, that maybe this X Games World Tour that they're kind of doing and the deal in Brazil, it didn't seem that highly publicized. Like, I think a lot of us, you are largely a big part of the Texas cross-country scene. And, we've gone to a lot of races together and enduros and stuff like that. And I know that you kind of keep up with that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to know that you didn't know about it. And I think that Dale and I kind of thought the same thing, that a lot of people didn't know about it. So are there any kind of, like, websites that you check for news like that, or, like, races that are coming up, or you just kind of, like, rely on Facebook? Like, what determines what you would watch, like, on TV for, like, moto-related?
I pretty much just stick to Supercross, or I'll flip through the menus, and if I see something that's on, I'll record it, but I really don't know when stuff is supposed to be on. Like the X Games, I had heard that there was going to be more than one this year in different countries, but I didn't know it was already going to happen until it was happening.
So you were like, hey, that's strange.
Yeah.
Endurocross on TV. What the heck's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Well, okay. Well, then that's one thing I think that we could try to figure out a way to change is maybe a little bit better publicity. Get it out there. Maybe they just didn't publicize it well in the moto world. I don't know. There was a lot of skating events.
Yeah.
A ton of skating events. Now, one of the things I did pick up on with all the coverage is that in Brazil, that's a huge part of the Brazilian culture. For some reason, that's one of the larger, extreme sports is skating. And there was obviously a ton of Brazilian athletes. So maybe what's going to kind of happen as they move around the world is, they're going to kind of focus on the extreme sports that happen more often or not when they get to those areas. Now, that could be complete crap. But, I guess we're going to find out, right?
Yep.
I don't really know. So, obviously, we talked a little bit about the track. It was super slick, super crazy. I didn't think it was going to be as slow as it was. I think the water actually really helped. Track layout, they were talking about how slow it was going to be and how big it was. And I've raced the one in Oklahoma a couple of times, and that was a big ass track. Yeah. This one didn't seem that large to me. So as it comes down to the obstacles, besides it being super slick, what did you think of some of the obstacles that were on the track and stuff?
I thought it was pretty cool. I liked some of the sections where you could actually jump over the logs, or they had a section with a
kind of like a double.
Yeah, like a hump on top of it, and then there was a dip, and some of the guys were jumping off onto it instead of going through the hole, But the rock sections look pretty gnarly with all the water and mud in between.
Yes.
You see some of the top riders bobble and bust their butts. It looked pretty nice.
It was really interesting. They did show a lot of practice footage of Tadej Lazuziak. I mean, he had a horrible hot lap.
Oh, yeah.
And he messed up a bunch of times in practice in those rock sections, which I think is strange because that's typically where, he really shines, is in those super, super technical sections. He just seems to be able to carry that momentum and really, I guess, tear those sections apart, honestly.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, that rock section gave him hell.
His heat race was off too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and it was like I think if Cody Webb hadn't screwed up in the main, we would have probably seen Cody Webb finally on that top step beating Taddy Blazuzziak, opposed to, getting second, unfortunately.
The two smoker up there too.
Dude, what up? Yeah, Beta's RR, man. That 300 that he was on. That's interesting. That's a new bike for Beta. That two-stroke, a newly developed bike. I believe they've had two-strokes out before, but it's a newly developed bike that he's been kind of testing and developing for them, and so
he looked good on it.
He looked good on it. I think it's been fantastic, and we know that the guys over at Fastway, that Promoto Bullet, they've got the adjustable KTM like bash guard link, so it's kind of like a built-in link guard. And it's adjustable, so if you're thinking, my KTM, or apparently now your Beta, doesn't have the exact head angle that you're looking for, the rake, if you will, you can adjust that at the link, which we're going to be testing this weekend, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We talked about that. I just wanted to make sure. So if you guys heard a little bit of rustling going on in the background, that was Steven again. Steven's our producer. He's the guy with the awesome beard. And he was setting up the guy that's sucking on his water bottle over there. Mr. Tanner Thomas, what is going on, dude?
Not too much. Just rushing to get on here.
Yeah.
Got a text from Zach Huberty asking if I wanted to be on, and I was kind of like a teenage girl getting ready to go out on a date. I changed my T-shirt like 3 times. I was looking in the mirror, like hat, no hat. Wasn't really sure.
The good thing is you don't really have much hair, so it's like you can't really screw that part up. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're like, yeah, I know what you mean. That's the same thing with James, though. James is pretty much like hat all the time. The guy ain't got no hair. He barely ever shaves his face. But,
hey, I'm not bald. I got hair.
I mean, like he's.
I think hats are prone to making you go bald, because my dad's been wearing one every day for years, and he just gets balder and balder.
I've heard that.
Take my hat off.
I've heard that rumor. Yeah, James would take his hat off, but he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so worried because I'm on the internet right now. What people think about me?"
Yeah, I'm not worried about the bald spot. I ride the over 30 class.
Yeah. Everybody in that class has got them. I'll be there soon. I'm gonna start growing a bald spot. It's gonna be horrible. It's absolutely gonna be horrible. So, Tanner, while you were calling in and getting all set up and everything, we were talking a little bit about the X Games this past weekend. Obviously, more specific to the Endurocross racing that happened. So, did you get a chance to watch the racing that happened?
I did. I got a chance to see the men's final. I actually wanted to watch the women's final a little earlier today, but I don't know. I was just kind of feeling unmotivated, and I actually went back to sleep for a couple hours.
That's okay. Everybody needs extra. It's a Tuesday, What else are people doing besides working or, breathing, taking naps? It's whatever. So, anything that stuck out in your mind? We were talking a little bit about the track, how slick it was, some of the obstacles and stuff like that. James was kind of pointing out some of the stuff that he thought was interesting. Like, what are some of the big points maybe that stuck out in your mind that you caught while watching the men's final?
The biggest thing that stuck out to me was that rock hill they had to go up. I mean, it looked to me like every lap, the line on the left was just the fastest, and everybody on the right side was struggling. But lap after lap, you'd see guys still taking that right line. Yeah,
that's interesting because we were talking about the rocks, but we were talking about the the kind of 180-degree rock turn that you came into, which I think still gave a lot of people trouble. It seemed the only person that really took that turn well when they took it tight was Cody Webb. Everybody else seemed to kind of fade wide on that turn to kind of miss most of it. But that rock hill, you're right. And I think I even heard, I didn't get a chance, I knew that they were doing live practice, or I heard that they were doing, I think, was it Nicole Lorette, the lady who does the Endurocross? She was talking online about some live practice. And apparently there was way more rocks on top of that hill that they actually took out because it was just too hard. No one was making it because they were losing all their momentum as they were coming up the rock hill. And then they tried to make it across the rock hill and just get totally stuck.
Did you see the size of the rocks on top?
They were huge. It was like, I liked the way they did it though. It was kind of veiny, And by no means do I mean that like...
Yeah. I'm not talking about microphones again.
Yeah, we're not talking about big old microphones in their faces again. We're talking about rocks on top of the hill. So how would you approach that kind of an obstacle, Tanner?
I think I would just try to make sure I was coming into it straight and, just get as much momentum as I could to the top and just kind of weave my way through once I got to the top, just like the guys were doing. I mean, I don't think there's any perfect way to do it, but to get through it the best you can is really just the ideal thing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. The minute amount of Endurocross experience I have, it is, what they talk about a lot on TV and what a lot of the racers say is momentum. I think that that's such a key way to make sure that you're going to kind of come in, pick a good line, and just kind of say, you know what, this is my line, I'm sticking to it. I'm probably not going to be in this line when I come out of this obstacle because you just get thrown all over the place. And as long as you kind of got the speed to carry you through it. I liked how a couple guys got stuck on the matrix. It just got so freaking slick throughout the night.
I was about to say the same thing.
There were guys, literally, you're thinking, I mean, and I know, you're there, it's way, way harder than it looked on TV. But I couldn't believe that. That guys were stuck. And even Jeff Aaron was having to go around it.
I was going to say, didn't David Knight go down around the side once?
I don't remember David Knight, but hey, that's not because it didn't happen. I know that Jeff Aaron did, for sure. But if you say David Knight did, I believe you because I know that there were a couple guys that had to do it. I thought that was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
You don't carry momentum, you get stuck on that last log, and you're like, I gotta go around.
Yeah, I forget who it was. In one of the heat races, they got stuck on that last two logs. And when the leader came back around, they were following with the camera. He was still sitting there going, trying to get over it. I was like, no way, a whole lap.
Yeah, that's pretty intense stuff. So, did you think? I know you said you didn't get a chance to watch the women's event, but did you kind of think that Forsberg was going to come in there and walk away with it, or did you have any kind of thing about some of the other ladies from around the world, how they were going to be able to compete with Forsberg?
I really wasn't familiar with a lot of the names that were in there. So really just from knowing, Maria's past accomplishments, for me, she was kind of the obvious pick for the gold.
Yeah. No, and honestly, she's done such a great job at the other X Games that she's been in, the GNCCs, and a lot of the racing that she's done throughout the past couple of years. I think a lot of people were kind of expecting it as well. But I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I want to say Leia Sanz. I know she's Spanish. She was riding a gas. She's the one that actually won the overall. Maria had a very, very fantastic start, but got stuck on the log that you're talking about, or after the hill you were just talking about. And man, she just seemed to be stuck there forever. And Sanz, we'll call her Sanz because that might be more.
I'm not sure.
S-A-N-Z.
Yeah.
Last name Sanz.
Yeah.
Sanz.
I think it's Sanz.
Sanz. I don't know. She's Spanish, and we're botched it like it's Mexican. So, because we're Texans, and that's probably unfortunately what we do. But that was when she got around her, and they just stuck out front, didn't have any more problems, and Forsberg was just trying to play catch up the whole time. And then Tara Geiger coming in third. I like Tara Geiger. There's something about Tara Geiger that I go, she's hot.
I thought she was going to have a good chance at it too, and they showed all the stuff. She wasn't happy with last year's, and
right. And she just did a lot of practicing.
Yeah, right? They showed a big deal on her practicing and getting ready and getting her bike ready for it, and I thought she'd do a little bit better.
Yeah, she's kind of like that tomboy that just like a surfer chick that's super hot. You watch what is it that surfer movie with the chick with the two real blue
Crush.
Blue Crush, yes.
Got it.
That main, yeah, on it.
Bikinis.
That main, bikini surfing, eyeballs in.
That movie was on the TV here at the Hardham household a little earlier today.
Is it really? Or was it really?
Yep.
That's crazy. So you know exactly what I'm talking about then.
Oh, yeah.
I have not seen Tara Geiger in that outfit, but I would just imagine that her physique might have that same, take on life, if you will.
Well, hey, maybe you can pull some strings and get her out to that surfer cross event they have.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't really have too many strings to pull, unfortunately. And the ones that I do are it's like the pull light in my closet. I walk in there, and that's kind of the one that I pull. And that's not like, a proverbial pun. I'm married, I have a happy wife. That's like the clothes closet. I walk in and out of that thing every day. Sometimes it's like, back door. Sometimes it's the front door. But I still pull that cord every day. No, I think you're right, Tanner. We're going to have to talk to some people. Be like, Miss Tara Geiger, if there's anything we could do to get you in a bikini and a surfboard, we would like to make that happen. Steven, I think you need to tweet that.
On it.
Yeah, you got control of my phone, buddy. You need to make stuff happen. So, before we talk a little bit about some of the GNCC stuff that was going on in the WORCS event that happened this past weekend as well, Tanner, tell us what you've been up to. I know that you've been, we did get a couple questions from you a couple episodes ago, and we were talking about some of the National Enduro races and everything. So, tell us about your experiences this year so far at the National Enduros, and then what you've been up to.
Really just trying to stay healthy. Been dealing with some suspension issues. Factory Connection's been really great with me with that. It's just tough where I'm living down in New Jersey to be training, and they're up there in New Hampshire, so I can't get, face-to-face with them. But, the last month, 4 weeks has been the Concho National Enduro. Then we had an NEOC race down here in Millville, New Jersey. Just had the Louisiana National Enduro, and then another NEOC race this past Sunday. So it's been kind of hectic, but I've been trying to get through it and get to the next ones.
Yeah, I would say that sounds extremely hectic. I know that when we just have, for a while there when I was on staff with Toro, and you probably experienced this now being on staff with TCCRA, kind of helping pull the trailer and stuff. And when you just local, we have like 6 hours to drive to a Texas race and 2 hours to drive to Toro, and we have those like back to back for 4 to 5 weeks. That's an ass kicker. So when you're like driving across the country back and forth, like that's got to be really, really intense. How are you making it to a lot of those races? Because I know those are really far from New Jersey. Louisiana is not very close.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's really just been my dad's Toyota Tundra and a 3-rail trailer on the back. He'll drive down here. He's going to come down this Thursday evening. We'll load everything up that night, and we're just going to hit the road early on Friday, get out towards Tennessee. We'll be about 40 minutes north of Knoxville that Friday night, and then Saturday morning just hit it again early and get down there. And really that's all it's been. In Louisiana, we left right after, came straight through. I took some sleeping pills right after the race so I could conk out, and I did the really early morning shift. We got back here Monday evening, unloaded everything. My dad left again in the morning, and that's really how it's been.
Man, I mean that is the privateer life. For those, for anybody that thinks, like, oh, I want to, do more nationals. I want to race this kind of stuff, and I want to try to make a living at this. This is what it takes. They've been running, I think, Inside the Outdoors. Last year did a fantastic job on kind of looking at a lot of what the families put in to some of these, these guys' motocross careers, and the kind of commitment that the parents have to their children to be able to make their children then have these lives that they have now, where they're very successful and they're very fantastic riders. But, it's guys like you that are still in the mix right now, that your parents are still putting forth all this effort. And I think it's fantastic. I know my parents, if I had the talent, I know my parents would have told me outright no, because we're not driving you across the country for like 10th place in the B class, you dummy. But at the same time, if I was up there, I think that they would have committed to that, which is fantastic. So the fact that your dad's doing that for you is just absolutely an enormous part of helping you. I know what your goals are. You do want to become a professional enduro racer, and I think that's definitely in the right direction. So you got to give him a high five for us, to your dad for sure.
Well, I'll definitely do that. And that's a big part of all this that a lot of people don't see. Motocross, enduro racing, GNCCs, a lot of people see it as an individual sport where it's just that guy out there on the bike. but even for the guys in the A class, the B class, even the C class, it takes a team effort of people behind that person to get them out there doing it, and that I just wish a lot more people knew about that.
Yeah, well, that sounds like some video. That sounds like some video, and that might need to happen that we could have some fun with. Do that kind of stuff. It's funny, we say the sea riders, and I completely agree. And one mother that I'm always thankful to see is a hot mom. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
She's out at some of the TCCRA races and Toro and stuff like that. And I don't know her real name. I'll admit it. It's unfortunate. I do not know who her husband is. I do know she has one out there. She has some children that come to the races. I may have just always been completely sidetracked when people told me her real name, but I just always call her Hot Mom. And she has bolt-on accessories, of course. And I've always wanted to see if I could get her on seat time. So if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, you tell her to get in contact with me.
I have no clue.
Yeah. I'll point her out in some more pictures if I can find them. I got some somewhere. They're not creepy like stalker pictures.
Yeah, sure.
They're like pictures that other people took that I might have saved places.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. Who said that?
Are we in trouble? No, Mom. We're on the internet. This is a show.
Somebody just hollered stalker.
Maybe. Was that Hot Mom? Do you have Hot Mom in your house? Tanner, do you have Hot Mom with you?
I have Noelle Hardum with me. She's over there in her NEOC office space.
Nice.
Oh, I will kill you.
Hey, yeah, you're live on the internet. What's up? That is some bright light outside.
I'm gonna pray for that one.
What time is it over there?
I didn't think it would be that bright, but it was pretty dark in here before I got it turned on. I had to move over to the side of the counter here.
No worries, no worries. Okay, so what is coming up? You're going to be heading down to Tennessee. You said this coming weekend for the race down there in Tennessee. Compared to what you had to go through when you were, in Louisiana, what are you kind of expecting for Tennessee this coming weekend?
Uh-oh.
Expecting nothing because we get hung up on. It happens. We're going to get them back on and see what's going on. Okay, so some of the other racing that happened, as we were talking about, was the GNCC. Yeah, what's up, buddy? That was way quicker than I thought, Steven. You are magical.
We get hung up on. It happens. Sometimes.
Is somebody watching me in the background? It's scary. It's weird. So, Tennessee, tell us about what you think.
I think it's going to be fun. I've heard that it might possibly be a little wet, but it was a little wet last year, and it was still a blast. I'll be really looking forward to get back into some rocks because it's rocky up in New Hampshire, so it always reminds me of home. And they have nice trails up there. I was really surprised at how it was last year, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Good. Well, I think you're gonna do really, really good, dude. You've been pushing it really hard. You've seen what I think is that we can definitely say that we've seen the progress. The effort that you're putting in and the effort your family's helping you out with and stuff. I really think that's coming to fruition, and you're gonna see some awesome results coming to the end of the year. Do you have any plans to make it to any of the ISTE qualifiers this year?
At the beginning of the year, the plan was to go out to the Ohio one. We were going to just kind of knock out a family visit with my grandparents at the same time to kind of act as an excuse to go out there. But right now, I don't really know if we're going to make it out there financially. But, if I can go, I'm going to try to go. Yeah,
well, you say New Jersey, you got to remember Jesse Grome, randomly made it out there last year, won the whole event with no intent of going to the ISTE, and then, with an unfortunate injury, though, he then made it onto the team. So, I mean, I would definitely say that if you can make it, that is a fantastic place to put yourself and your name out there and to really, have fun. Because you're a fast guy. You're always going to be fast, but you got to go out there and have fun.
It was really cool to see Jesse last year.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what I ride for. I mean, the greatest feeling I have is when I just go out on my motorcycle and I'm just doing everything better than I have before, and I'm just amazing myself with how fast I'm going. You know, I'm nailing all the corners, getting through all the tight trees. That's why I do this, because, you know, to ride, I mean, professionally, you've got to be racing. You've got to be racing at a professional level to keep riding for the rest of your life. And
right.
That's what I'm in it for, is just a progression and keep going at it.
Well, I think, like we were saying, I think you've got the right mindset, and you've got, obviously, the right support system. So, James, you've been in a couple situations, you know, where you've been the fast guy, and you've kind of traveled around and tried to you know, I don't know if you were trying to make a living at it, but you were definitely trying to make it out there to some of the bigger nationals, the OMA and stuff. Do you have any advice from doing that with your dad?
I probably wasn't anywhere near this guy.
Whatever. James was fast. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. James and I are older now, but James is still fast as shit. So it's fun. It's a good time for sure. So we've got a race coming up this coming weekend for TCCRA, right?
Yep.
Was it? It's outside of Cleburne.
Yeah, Cowbone okay. Creek, but it's Cleburne.
Tell me, have you raced at this property before?
Yeah, it's actually they used to race there every year for years. It's pretty cool. It's got a cool little moto section in the trees. It's got some little doubles and stuff, but mostly not any big elevation stuff, but probably lots of hard. Well, might not be hard packed now that it's got a little moisture. It might be just perfect.
We got a Scotia bit.
Thankfully, I've raced there when it was muddy before. It ought to be pretty nice. It's a pretty cool place to ride.
All right, cool. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna go out there this weekend. As I was saying, we've got kind of the fastway parts. You know, we've got the adjustable KTM linkage that we're gonna go test out on the 300. James is gonna ride that. We've got a couple fly parts that we're gonna test out, which is fantastic. We've got the two different chest protectors that they've come out with that are, you know, not adaptable, but that work. They're made by Liat, designed by Fly, or designed and developed by Liat, but the graphical part has the graphical interface part has kind of come in from Fly Racing to kind of help them partner up. And then of course it's the same way with the Valor neck brace. So James is going to be kind of like the tester guy this weekend. So that the 30 plus A guy is going to be putting everything through its ringer. And I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to be testing a lot of Fly stuff. So that is a really good tie-in to the fact that Fly Racing is a fantastic sponsor and partner of Seat Time. And if anybody were to go out and be like, you know, I don't really know what kind of gear I'm looking for. It's so hot where I ride right now. Fantastic, because their 2013 Kinetic Mesh line just came out, and it is absolutely phenomenal. The pair sitting over there. And again, I'm not in my sling, so you guys can't really believe me if you can only see me. But if you knew how much of a gimp I was, I can't reach over there. It just sucks. But James is fantastically nimble still, so he's going to do it for me. Look at that. Look at these pants. So what they did is they created a nice mesh panel in the front so that you can have wind. And I will definitely be the guy to tell you that you stand up with these things, it'll cool off your man parts. And it feels absolutely fantastic when it happens. But what they thought about is the back half, where your bum is still a kind of. I'm by no means a professional for them. I don't know their like key slogans, but it's a really good Kevlar material. And so what's going to happen here is you're not going to have mud like sliding through some mesh panel into your butt.
Wow, dude, you can see right through it. It's so thin.
Yes. We'll see, but not at your butt. It's thin where it needs to be and not where it don't need to be. So you get the cool parts cool. Or I guess you get the parts that are going to be hot cool, and you get the parts that don't need mud shoved in them, not having mud shoved in them. So I think that's pretty much fantastic. And of course, you know, the guys on Four Strokes, they got the little leather panels and all that fun stuff on it. They didn't put any plastic on it because plastic, who needs that when it's hot, right? Nobody. And then there's a little jersey. So what they did is they have two different type of mesh panels. So the front is a very is a very, very thin mesh to make sure that a lot of the dirt doesn't go through. And then on the sides, they have a much thicker mesh so that the air breathes a lot better. So Fly Racing, making fantastic gear. Not just fantastic gear that rides well, but that looks well. And if you ask, you could be like, yes, I would love to have a Seat Time logo heat pressed on to my jersey. Because you know what? They will do it. And hopefully they don't leave the couch out for your jersey like they did for mine. It would be fantastic. So flyracing.com. Please please go check them out. We very, very much appreciate their help, their support, and everything they've done for us here at Seat Time. It's been fantastic. So thank you very much. Holler at your boys. Check them out. All right. So GNCC this past weekend, Tanner, I know you were paying attention to a lot of those guys. You raced against them, some of the pro guys at the National Enduros. Done a couple of GNCCs yourself. So tell me, what did you think, man? Mullins and Russell are still battling like crazy haters. Man,
yeah,
they're going for it.
I'm starting to think it's just going to go down like that for the rest of the season. I was really stoked to see Thad back up on the podium again. That was really cool.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, yeah, they're just going at each other, and I think it's just going to come down to who can stay the healthiest. You know, Charlie, he's doing the Enduros too, so that kind of puts him at higher risk for an injury, you know, knock on wood. Not saying I hope anything happens to him.
Absolutely not.
You know, Caleb, he's just focusing on those GNCCs, and you know, I know that's a big thing for Mike Lafferty, where the Enduros is his thing, or are his thing, and that's what he focuses on. He might do a couple local races, but he's trying to stay healthy to be in the hunt for that.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because we talked to Russell at the beginning of the season, you know, before the GNCCs really started up, to kind of talk to him about what was going on, what he was looking forward to this season. And this is his first year he's actually competing. He plans to compete in the entire OMA series. So, yeah, I know and he has not done that before. He typically has been very, I guess one series focused, or very series focused, I guess you could say. And I don't know if that's because of the fact that if that's a sponsor thing, if that's like a KTM thing, if that's a personal thing, if it's a little bit of everything, you know, what's going on there. But you've done a couple OMAs. How have those courses been laid out in your opinion, James?
I think I went to like 4 of them one year. They were all really fun. Just they're normally more wide open than
they are.
Yeah,
okay.
They're not like Louisiana woods or nothing.
Right. They don't have any tight ass pine trees that make you go, I want to cut my crap down to 30 inches.
Nah, you'll get into a little bit of weaving and a little bit of tight stuff, but nothing you're gonna get a handlebar taken out over. But
right.
It has a lot of fun. They normally have a lot of fun stuff in them.
Good. All right. Well, Tanner, I know you're up there in the Northeast. Have you had a chance to compete in any of the OMAs?
I have not. You know, I actually talked with a friend last year about trying to get to a couple this year. You know, just kind of crazy. You know, drive overnight in one of our trucks and go out there. But from what I've seen of the videos and the pictures and stuff that get posted online, they seem like there's some pretty nice events.
Yeah, I would I guess my opinion of what I see is that they seem to be they don't seem to be as wide as the GNCC. They don't seem to be as long. They seem to be a tad bit more technical, and obviously not as many people. But I think that's just the size of the series. I think the Grand National Cross Country Series is just a larger series. They bring in more people, more spectators with the big 4-wheeler events and stuff like that. But I think they look fun. They definitely get beat up, and some people get some asses kicked for sure. But I like the fact that they have some completely brand new trail that doesn't ever get ridden. I know that's already happened once or twice, and the guys have been trying to follow arrows and all over the place, and a lot of passes happen in those sections. And I think that's where Bobbitt and Farringer, they do really good at the OMAs, and I think that's why. Is because of the fact that those OMAs seem to have sections that they can really, really take advantage of their skill set, which is primarily from the Enduro series that they do. So, all right. So, with Big Buck, we had Mullins taking the win, and we had Russell getting second. They were obviously going at it for a while. Russell having an unfortunate, wreck, then Mullins coming away with the win there. Not that I want either of them to win specifically. I think I'm with Tanner that I think that to this point, though, I mean, anything can really happen. We're 4 rounds in, with the 5th round coming up in a week and a half. Lots can happen, but it really does seem that it's going to be their championship to lose at this point, one of those two guys. And then Thad Duvall, it sounds like he had a pretty rough get-off at Steel Creek. Bruised ribs, had some cartilage or ligaments. You know, I don't know the scientific term behind it, but
anything in this area sucks.
Anything in this area sucks. There's your scientific evidence right there, people. Don't do it. Don't fall.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, this part gets pounded. When you're breathing, it hurts.
None of this shit's cool. When you see bandages taped on the people, none of that stuff's fun. XC2, Andrew DeLong. Like, what'd you say? He finished like 6th overall?
Yeah.
Like, so Andrew DeLong, who's in the XC2 class, starts an entire minute behind the XC1 line, finished 6th overall. Fantastic. I cannot wait for that guy to start on the XC1 line. I think it's going to be awesome. So 6th overall, first place in the XC2 class. Grant Baylor doing a great job. Aaron Plessinger, who unfortunately is not going to be racing the entire series. They were talking about that on the GNCC Live webcast, that he is unfortunate for us. Fortunate for him, he's going to be starting to do some motocross stuff. We've seen Morgan Moss do that as well. Morgan Moss qualified for Loretta Lynn's last year, had a ton of fun, and decided this year he wanted to focus a little bit more on that and see, how he could do there. Tanner, I don't know how much motocross you've done. How are you on a motocross track? Because I know how much I suck on one. So.
When I first started racing, it was motocross. Throughout my 65 career and my 85 career, I spent a lot of time practicing on the tracks. I'm always really modest about it because, the guys that are out there, doing the national stuff, they're just blazing fast. But, I can get around them. Some of the bigger gaps, I'm kind of timid with them. But the way I look at it is it's just a corner game, just like in the woods and the enduros. You get through the corners faster, you're carrying more momentum and speed down the straightaways.
Yeah, I think if you could ever teach me how to gall up and jump, I would pay you as much money as I could find in my piggy bank, because that is I'm not gonna lie. I would use the word that everybody wants to say right now, and it starts with a P, and it sounds exactly how you would think it would. I'm not gonna say it, but man, that's what I am when it comes to jumping. It sucks. I don't know what the problem is. I've never been a jumper, and it's unfortunate because I'm pretty much stuck in the A class when it comes to racing cross countries, because when it comes to a double jump, I'm like, oh, look, 2 singles, that's fun. And I get passed by the B riders because of that crap, man. It's so unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is, I still have fun.
That's all that matters.
I've always kind of been weird with jumps. Like, tabletops, there's the jump farther and farther and farther thing to get them down, and I kind of just get tired of the harder and harder hit in my arms, so I just, kind of scrub them when I'm out there riding. But doubles, I'm the guy who rides over it the first lap and just comes at it pinned the next lap and hopes he makes it.
Yeah. This is either working out or I'm going home early, baby. This is happening. That's not me at all. Like, no. Like, I would have to be either in the middle of, like, just a downright dirty battle where we're, like, passing back and forth every other turn to where I wouldn't even notice that that's what was coming up. Like a Bonita. Like, there's no way. Like, I can jump half the jumps out of Bonita, which is, like, what'd you say, it's about 16 miles now? 16-mile lap? With all of the stuff they've added?
I don't think it's quite that long.
It's not that long? Okay. So about 14?
Yeah.
About 14 miles. But Dan Birch, the landowner, is an old motocross dude. So he's got a bunch of these, to what everyone else says, extremely easy, but they're very large jumps. So as long as you go at them with the correct speed, you really can't screw them up. Well, my problem is they're too damn big. And but I think if I got into like a turn battle with somebody where it was like we're just like passing each other, I might jump a couple of the ones that I'm extremely uncomfortable with by accident. But I still am like.
Hey, I'll tell you like this: Toro race this year.
Yeah. I
didn't jump any of them in practice at all.
Yeah.
And I told everybody, I said, I'm not jumping that crap. I broke my back out there. Everything looks scary to me now. And I took off on the start and was in second place, and I followed the guy in the lead over almost all of them.
And that was Mark Weeks?
Yeah.
Mark Weeks.
But there was a couple of the big ones I pulled off and took the girl line around it.
Hey,
Oh, I meant the slower line.
It's the amateur line. It's the B line. It's
okay.
Because there are women that'll jump some of that crap that I won't, and that's totally fine. They're allowed to do that because, we've already talked about what I am, and that's fine. I already accept it. So, I guess that's what happens. So, WORCS moved to Utah this past weekend, round 4. They had some more racing going on, as they do in the western part of the states. They like to race out there in the desert, in the sand, and go pretty much as fast as possible. On that note, going out west, very, very good news on the fact that at the past Hare and Hound, we had 2 really bad wrecks. We had way more than just 2 bad wrecks, but the 2 worst wrecks being for some of the pros out there with Skylar House and Toby Price. Both of those guys out of the hospital. Toby Price got a halo on his head, heading back to Australia. The second he gets there, having major surgery, they're going to check everything out. But, fingers crossed. Everybody send out your prayers and thoughts for sure. Skylar in his back brace doing really, really good. So it's great to see. I mean, it's unfortunate that those guys push themselves. It's unfortunate that they had those wrecks and hurt themselves to that degree while they're pushing themselves. But that's what they do for a living. I know that they would not want it any other way. So thoughts for sure out to those guys. It'd be for fun. That we're going to see him back. I know we will. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully Toby Price can make it back to America. That's been a big dream of his for a while. He's done it a couple times, but he was just starting to get the breaks, and now he's going to do it all over again. So we had Robby Bell, Jacob Augerbright, and Justin Seed were the pros this past weekend at the WORCS race in Utah. This is a new venue for WORCS, but not a new venue to off-road, I think is the way that they were kind of putting it. Apparently, this is kind of like a little Sahara almost. I know Steven would know a lot about that. So a lot of sand, a lot of dunes. They have some rock crawling type events, I think, as well that go on out there. So off-road-wise, lots that goes on at this venue, but kind of new to the WORCS event. I think what they say, like 13-mile laps.
Yeah.
And that's crazy long for those guys, right? I mean, they don't ever do anything that long. And they do a lot of moto tracks, too, still.
It says it's the longest WORCS event ever.
Longest WORCS event ever. Is that official? Are you reading that off the website?
That's what it says right there.
That's what the website says, folks. That's official. So what was the last desert race that you ever did, Tanner?
The Concho National.
Love it. So never or none. You need to. So you weren't able. You didn't make it out to West Texas back when we had like the Lubbock Trail Riders event. Fluvana, right? Was it the Fluvana one?
Yeah.
And they had it at the other one as well, right?
Yeah, both of them.
So so the Lubbock Trail Riders had a couple nationals at 2 different venues. You weren't able to make either of those in the past couple years?
No. I think 2010 was the last National Enduro out that way that I remember.
Yeah, and I think 2009 was the one when Cole Kirkpatrick won, right? With like Chuck Norris and all that jazz. I think so.
Back those couple years, that was the time I was begging my dad to just take me to one. Once they changed the format, I was really all about it because age-wise, I was able to do it. And the big draw for me is new places, new terrain, and just different trail all throughout the day. So, unfortunately for me, I wasn't able to get to too many of them then. But, I had a good time out there this year, even though I struggled. So, I'll be looking forward to coming back in the future.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you for sure, we have a guest bedroom. This is not my only... This isn't the hovel. There's a guest bedroom. We have it for a reason, and it's for, friends, family to come stay and visit. We've got Boondockers coming up later this year. I can promise you this. If you want, I would say, a pretty good introduction to a desert enduro, you should come out with us to Boondockers because it's a 2-day as well. So, yeah, we'll go out. As long as my shoulder's healed up and I'm riding, we'll be out there Friday night getting ready. With a couple adult beverages. I don't know how old you are, but I'm old enough. So I'm going to have adult beverages on Friday night. And we'll race Saturday. Probably have some more on Saturday night. By that point, Sam Reynolds will have had way more than everybody. He will have had a 30-pack somehow between like Friday night and Saturday sun going down. So he'll drink that much somewhere between almost racing and racing. It's really scary, and then he'll start all over again, and still be more hydrated and pissing water more than we. I really think that he's like a leprechaun. Like there's some like magical force in that man.
Hey Sam, just in case you're watching, I'm not throwing you under the bus. It's this guy.
Oh, dude, we've had multiple discussions about this. There was one episode that we had of Seat Time, and you know what the title was? Make Sam Reynolds Proud. Do you have any idea what happened on that episode?
Alcohol.
I barely walked away, folks. I'm on a couch. I'm sitting. I could have crawled, but I like challenged myself to walk. That's a Sam Reynolds episode right there. You don't take those lightly. You don't ever wish that upon yourself, to say the least. So I think what you should do is we'll look at the schedule. We'll figure out if you can fly in for Boondockers. Now, granted, obviously there's no money involved with the TCCRA races, but if you want to find your way into like pretty much like seeing what a Texas like desert race is all about, that'll be a good one, especially if they don't get moisture, because then it's like total ass suckage. There's nothing fun about that race if they don't have moisture.
That's the way to get him to want to come down.
Yeah, you want to come to a race that's gonna suck? Boom, come to stay at my house. That's how it goes down.
I'm all about that either way. I mean, hey, tweet me, message me on Facebook with the dates. I'll do what I can to get out there. Unfortunately, due to local laws and personal preference, I'm going to have to stick with my water bottle. But it sounds like an awesome time to me.
Oh, hey, I don't judge anybody on their consumption of legal and or illegal substances. For me, it's completely legal. I am 33 years old. I can choose to make all the bad mistakes I want. What I would prefer is that everybody under the age of 21 make all the correct decisions and wait. Or at least be in the gosh darn safest place possible and just tell your parents that you're screwing up. That way they can reprimand you as they see fit, and I don't feel like I have to. It's all good. Just do that. All right, so because of that, I really think we should bring in another sponsor. I think we should thank these people for the fact that they let us do what we do for fun on a Tuesday night and get to call in all these awesome people. So, I think this is going to be relevant. We've talked to a lot of athletes, and Tanner, I would love to know your opinion on this once we get talking into it. So squarespace.com/seattime is where you can go to learn more about their fantastic services. But I think there are a lot of people out there that go, ooh, I want a website. I want to go find a web developer. I want to find somebody that knows about the web, and I want them to make me a website. When they don't know anything about designing a website, developing a website, or what it takes to make a website work, or putting information onto a website, which is what the web is all about, is a plethora of content and information. Well, I think that Squarespace, personally, my wife and I have now started a site. It's called holyshitglutenfree.com. And we have now started blogging. We're going to start blogging and posting pictures and videos and stuff about our foray into the gluten-free world. I think it's going to be fun. But the reason, and so go check it out if you like. That's where we've got tons of fun stuff coming up. But what I like about it is I go, hey, I'm going to sign up. Boom, 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 boom. It takes 2 minutes. You sign up, no credit card needed. All of a sudden, you have a website. You can pick the URL that you want. It's your URL. You have your name. Boom, right there, .com. You are the .com. And you pick a template. You go, okay, this is what I want to do. They have a bunch of categories. This is the kind of category I fit into. This is the kind of template I want. And if you're into web development, you know a little bit of HTML, CSS, maybe you're like a JavaScript guy, figure out some of that kind of stuff, you can do that. You can customize these sites. You can make them feel your own. But Tanner, you are kind of marketing yourself right now. So when it comes to marketing yourself, how have you kind of treated this web space? Does something like a Squarespace where you could get in there, log in, have all this information so easily done for you, or all you have to think about is your sponsors, talking about the content, and putting up websites? I mean, doesn't this sound like something that would make your job a lot easier as an athlete when you're trying to talk about, how your race went?
Certainly. I mean, it's definitely really appealing. I honestly wish I had known about it before I went to set up my website. Anything that makes it easier, because, you know, to just get it down to, you know, training, eating healthy, getting the bike ready, you know, those are the things you want to focus on. So getting yourself out there and doing it easily, that would be such a big help for anyone, really. Good.
And I'm glad that you said all of that. Those are all the right words. Absolutely perfect, because we had a gentleman on from Motul, Garrett Andrews. He was on the show. He was talking to us, and he was like, I get resumes all the time. I get pinged about websites. He's like, honestly, if it doesn't look that professional, I'm kind of hesitant. And I was like, dude, all these guys with Squarespace, very, very professional. It works on every device because they have a completely responsive layout. So the thing is you put all your content up there, boom, it's going to show up on anybody's mobile device, anybody's tablet, all that kinds of fun stuff. I mean, James Hill, in this amount of time right now, if I were to talk for another 5 minutes, could have a Squarespace site. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie, James, my throat's going a little dry here. Am I talking too much?
You want one of these?
You got more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally take one. I don't have a Gatorade bottle full of water. It's unfortunate. But soon, my friends, it will happen. So please.
I got an extra.
Yeah, he's like, I will bring it to you in Texas when I come down for Boondockers.
Sounds good. I mean, you can slap on a big seat time sticker right here.
Oh, it's happening.
You can slap on a seat time sticker right here, and you're good to roll, dude.
He's like, I don't know if you noticed, Brian, but this space is empty, and it's waiting for your love. Your vinyl cutout sticker love. If you send your self-addressed stamp envelope to Saba 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 Saba, I will get you seat time stickers. And I say that because it's my... What's that?
Don't forget the box tops. You got to put them in the envelope.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate. I get everybody their seat time stickers when they ask for them. If you really do want some, remember that you can tweet us at all kinds of fun places, but it's seattime_CO. You don't have to worry about this, Stephen. I'm rambling right now. I understand that. I'm going with it. Okay? But you can hit us up, all of our fun little places. I'll send you as many stickers as you want. You're just paying for the shipping. That's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Stephen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah! Thanks, Stephen. James?
Yep.
Absolutely. It's going to happen. All right. So we've talked about all kinds of fun racing. What's coming up?
It's an online show.
What is coming up? We're talking about all kinds of fun stuff. We talked about TCCRA. We talked about the National Enduro that's coming up. That's going to be happening in Tennessee. I don't know, week and a half. We're going to be doing some more GNCC racing. We got a couple WORCS. We got Hare and Hound coming back up. Actually, Hare and Hound's going to be this coming weekend. So we're going to see if Kurt Caselli can do it again. What do you think? Can Kurt Caselli do it again?
Is J-Day opening this weekend too?
Is this weekend the 28th?
No, it's next weekend.
No.
Next weekend.
I think you're right. What? Somebody, what's the date today? Today's 24th.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, my son of a... J-Day is starting up this coming weekend. It's like... It's like I have a problem, folks. No, I'm just kidding, but seriously. J-Day.
Yeah, I don't know.
You would race the shit out of those, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if I could afford to drive up there, I would.
Yeah. Do those courses not look like the sickest shit ever?
Yeah.
John Day, we appreciate everything you do because I would like to call it bike porn. Yet, I think it's trail porn, honestly. Like, what you do with a Bobcat is what I mean, I'm not going to tell you where I want to do it and what I'm going to do it with. But, congratulations on making me a happy camper.
Yeah, I got the like page on Facebook for a J-Day Off-Road, and the pictures look amazing.
Did you like it real hard?
Yeah.
You're like, I can't click it enough.
Oh,
I can't click it enough. So, Tanner, how close are you to some of those J-Day events up there?
They actually have one like 10 minutes from my house in Chester, New Hampshire.
Did you go to it?
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Are you going to be like the Seat Time sponsored like affiliate or what?
Hey, I like the courses. I think Brian's onto something really awesome. but I just don't enjoy the format. You know, you can only sign up for one class, so you do your 30-minute moto, and then you have to sit there for 4 hours before your next one. I think it would be a lot better if he did it, all the 250 classes go, all the lights classes go, and so on like that. That way, you know, hey, I've got this old 125. I can go and I can race a couple classes, just like going to motocross.
Oh, okay. I did not know. I knew that. I definitely understood the fact that they did the 2 30-minute motos, but I didn't even realize that it was kind of that, it had that old school feel where you literally do go race your 30-minute moto and then hang out like for ever, sometimes what it feels like when you're waiting for that next 30-minute moto.
I can't believe that they wouldn't let you sign up for 2 different classes if you were...
Well, I think it's because what he's saying is like, so he wouldn't, because all the A guys are at the same time was the B guys, and so like you're not going to be able to sign up for like a C 125 class and an A 250 class, kind of a situation.
I got you.
So what about a sportsman though? Is there maybe a sportsman class that you'd be able to sign up for, like in between, so that you could do like your A class sportsman class, A class sportsman class, or vice versa?
To my knowledge, there isn't, but I'm not very familiar with what the classes are. I went to 2, and I had to run their AA Pro class when I went, so I didn't get a chance to really look into the other ones.
All right, well, I'm gonna text John when we get done here. I got his number. I'm gonna send him some words. Let's see what we can make happen. Maybe we can have a seat time sportsman class. Because we know that at some point, unfortunately, everybody's got to suck. And they need to have, you know, kind of the beer drinking class, right? I mean, everybody's got to get there. It's unfortunate. But hey, I do this with my right hand, but I can't. We have fun with it. No, it's like a clinky time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If you can get that hooked up for the Chester round, my house is open. Just let me know.
I like it. Dude, we're going to Chester. Chester? Is it Chester or Chesterfield? What is it? Chesterfield?
Chester, New Hampshire.
What's that movie? Something Field.
Chesterfield?
No.
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield. When he was like Chester, all of a sudden I was like, Cloverfield. I was like, that's... What?
I don't know.
I'm all over the place, man. I'm all over the place.
I still like the pictures of the track, though, for J-Day. Like
okay,
him grooming something in the woods. It looks like a moto track going right through the trees. Just looks like it'd be awesome just to rip right down there.
Yeah, you're like, thanks for making us feel like crap in Texas.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting because we know that the beginning of the year, they went down to Florida, their first kind of foray, if you will, into more of a national format in the sense of trying to bring in more national riders. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out in the future of J-Day, because they're not going to find that kind of moisture. They're not going to find that kind of terrain throughout the rest of the nation all the time. You know, so especially in Texas, I mean, you have to make that kind of moisture. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So Tanner, before we kind of get into the whole idea of like seat time, social media type crap, you know, where can people find you? Like if they're like, hey, you know, we talked about websites. What's your website? How do I tweet you real hard on the internet? How do they do that? What's your information, son? I'm just gonna laugh about it. I don't know. I smile really well on the web.
My website is 50h4racing.com. You can tweet me at the same address without the .com, just at 50h4racing. You know, other than that, it's really just Facebook. But you know, I try to keep that personal. You know, just my friends. I really don't even use it anymore. I just share photos and ask people if they want to go ride.
Like, hey, so what's up? Here's my photo. You want to go on a date? And by that I mean a riding date. Yeah, meet up at the moto track. Make it to the backwoods. Not at all?
Nah.
We use Facebook way differently in Texas. That's all I'm saying. That's how I met James. We're actually really just Facebook friends. We don't travel to any of these races we talk about. We don't actually ride.
It's kind of creepy.
Do you have a dirt bike?
No.
Man, we're supposed to lie about that. You know that, right?
Oh.
Hey, it happens. That's okay. All right, but we're definitely gonna lie about the fact that we are gonna go test out some awesome parts on the 300 this coming weekend. Test out some awesome parts on his Kawasaki, which is still a fantastically awesome ripping motorcycle. When he passes me, it just pisses me off because it sounds so fast.
Yeah, I'm hoping that KTM can stay together with me riding it.
I know it's really new though, so hopefully it will. Just kidding, but seriously, seat time. Holy crap! So, we really thank you for paying attention. We love everybody out there. It's been fantastic. One of our other great sponsors, before we get to some of our social media stuff, is the fact that Powersport Graphics, Ride PG, they do a fantastic job of helping us out, not just with bringing you a great off-road show on the internet, but they supply us at a very, very awesome industry cost of graphics for all the seat time motorcycles that we have out there. So thank you very much for that, of course. They offer you fantastic discounts for being seat time fans and viewers and listeners. So you're like, I am really not in the mood for paying all of these, seriously flat rate costs for everything. RidePG.com. Check out their website. Flat rate shipping. You order it before 11 a.m. Eastern time, same day. It's going to be at your house. And of course, pick ready to ship option. That saves you 40% right there. 40%, a lot of money to save. You want to put in a fantastic discount code, put in seat time. That saves you 10%. So that way you can be like, oh, I would love to order some random stuff from Ride PG. Something else that's just not going to fit into the fact that you can't have, you want something a little bit more custom, but you want to save a little bit of money while you're doing it. We have a fun discount code for you. It is seat time. I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it, James?
Yep.
Who doesn't like saving money?
I like saving money.
James likes saving money. Everybody does like saving money. So Ride PG, please go check them out. Tell them thank you very much for supporting Seat Time, because we would love to tell them thank you very much for supporting Seat Time by sending you to their website and putting in the discount code of Seat Time. That's how you can be a fantastic listener and viewer. Thank you very much. Remember, you can find us on Stitcher, YouTube, and iTunes. I'd love to throw that out there. So Seat Time, SeatTime.com is the website and the URL where you can find all of our shenanigans, all of our archives, and a little bit more about the show, the gear we use, the fun times that we have. I think we do some pretty good stuff. Shenanigans aren't the worst. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Facebook.com/SeatTime if you happen to be a Facebook user. And, of course, on Twitter, you can tweet us real hard right there. It's twitter.com/SeatTime_CO. This is James Hill. I'm Brian Pierce. Of course, Tanner Thomas over there kicking it. Look at that smile. He's so cute. Motorcycles Plus on that guy's shirt. I like it. And then, of course, Stephen Rice, our producer. Thank you very much for listening. That's his hand. Show you his beard later. Beer Olympics is coming May 4th. You excited, James?
Oh, yeah.
Steven?
Oh, yeah.
Tanner, I know you'd be excited, but we don't offer Gatorade. I apologize. You have to bring your own Gatorade. We're going to give as much beer away as people want to drink, but we ain't giving away water nor Gatorade. That's on your own tab. Okay?
All right.
So you come down May 4th, you bring your own water. See if you can get that on the plane. That's safe. Right? It's distilled.
Right.
It's distilled. It's okay. All right. Guys, Seat Time. Thank you very much. Episode 81. Always enjoy a pint full of awesome. Peace.